My name is VJ, brother.
What's your mic name?
But that is my name.
Okay.
The brother from the ancient mother. Man.
My name is Takesa.
Exactly. And this is that face. Yeah.
Oh, fucking faded, eh?
It's gonna be an awesome episode. That is a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, A-Reece posted a tweet.
He said, I'm the best rapper in Africa.
Flagrant. I lost my shit because I was thinking to myself, how dare he?
Yes.
And somebody responded by the name of Lucas Raps.
Okay.
I'm trying to give Lucas.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give Lucas Raps some dignity.
Okay.
Great MC, talented. It comes through and it becomes a whole thing. But anyways, A-Reece says he's the best rapper in Africa. I think it's ridiculous. I want to talk about why.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think A-Reece is the best rapper in
South Africa.
in Tanzania. You know, I don't even think he has gotten to the point where, as a rapper, he has represented the best of what Tanzania has to offer. Yeah, is related. So I think that for a young, successful MC who has a lot of commercial appeal overseas, to assume that he's the best because he's functioning, and I think this is his logic.
Yeah, that's the logic.
The logic amongst young rappers is that
if the grand America, that means I'm the best
in the whole, you know.
Yeah.
And what does that say? That says that certain people think that the standard of excellence is meeting American expectations. I want to take this back to Nasty C.
That's where hip hop originated from. So if now you are the best. So
Nasty C had a more humble way of putting it. He called himself the coolest kid in Africa.
Okay, that's better.
That's better.
Yeah.
Because it has nothing to do with rap.
Yes.
But I did feel about
he called it down, yes.
I am more globally acceptable
than all you niggas.
than like Casper in your vest.
Yeah.
Or AKA.
Yes.
Nasty did a great job. He went on Sway. He murdered it. They were thoroughly impressed. But I want us to look at the trajectory of artists like Nasty and see when you compromise the significance of learning what it means. It's the A word.
Authenticity.
Authenticity is about being true to your unique experience. That's Fritz Croyd.
I think this liquor is doing something.
It's gonna be an amazing episode. You know? Yo, hey, some busy friends. In case you didn't notice, it's a great Saturday. We're all faded. Nasty C.
Yes, yeah.
Nasty C. Nasty C.
Yes.
Failed to realize we are all born from a space. We're all located in a particular region with unique experiences, and when you jump to another place, if you think, because the thing is, people think America is the world.
Yeah.
It's like we learned this thing in the movies. When aliens come to destroy the world, they come to destroy America.
And America It's the job to save the
to
world.
save the world.
Yeah.
When demons come out of the ground to destroy the world, they come in America.
Yeah.
So the subjective imagination has been that America is the world.
Yeah.
America is not the world. America is one of the most powerful countries in the world, but in no stretch of the imagination is America the world.
Yeah.
So I think when artists like A-Reece say, I am the best in Africa, they think that they're the best in the world.
Yeah.
Because they appeal to an American audience. And the moment a couple of people in Brooklyn say, oh man, you're so nice, you dope dog, they think, I've made it in the world.
Yeah.
America is not the world, guys. America is a country built by colonialist people, mainly criminals, who created an empire based on oppression and the indignity of people. You know?
They say they found it. Yeah. Which one? Took Balo. Columbus. Yeah. Discovered.
Who wiped out.
You wiped out the whole fucking Indians.
The indigenous people of America, the Iroquois, the Navajo.
Yeah.
And there's actually a passage where Christopher Columbus says, I've met these people. They're so nice. They have great humility. They love nature. They admire the world. They are respectful to their elders. They treat everybody with kindness.
Yes.
They are open to welcoming everybody. And you know what the conclusion is? They'd make great people to conquer. Let's go. Like that, I'm like, what?
You see?
Christopher Columbus sees Ubuntu and he says this would make an amazing slave.
Yeah.
See, be careful of that. A-Reece, in your mind, whatever perception you have of Africa, this episode is about breaking that. Number one, Africa is the whole concept of Africa was not created by us. People say,
Africanus.
you know what I mean? The Roman general.
Yeah.
Some people say it comes from the Egyptian, Africa, which means to return back to the soul. I don't give a shit where the word comes from.
Yes.
But I want to say that the idea that we are one embedded nation is false. We are a group, a diverse, because Africa trails 3 parts of the world. The equator moves through Africa. And when you are in Africa, you move through different parts of the Earth's equator. And as a result, what happens there is that you have people who live in totally different climates, totally different experiences, who share totally different understandings of what the world is. A Maasai can never be like an Ashanti, who can never be like a Xhosa, who can never be like a Mzulu, who could never be like Shona. My point is, I love the idea of Africanism because in the context of colonialism, it helps us unify to fight against the bigger enemy, which is the influence of Western imperialism. But on a realistic level, Africanism is not real. This is why xenophobia exists. So I want to say to rappers like A-Reece, if you haven't understood the power dynamics of South Africa, with its xenophobia, with its tribal distinctions, with its very prevalent history of Bantustan tension, then you can never call yourself the best rapper in Africa. Africa is not some kind of homogeneous, unified thing. In Africa, we've had rappers like Ice Prince, Manifest, M.I., Reino, Madeline, Sakodi, K9, MC Solar, who was in America. We've had a migration of people from Africa who have, I'm going to give you an example. For the kids, Uwaleng, what's Nigeria, guys? This is a unique connection in the sense that, let me tell you, and this is on record, for people in Africa, what we have is the power of a unique, immediate relationship to our ethnicity. Africans in the America have lost all direct sense with where they come from. The power of being African is that you have access to linguistic, ritualistic, aesthetic, artistic codes of expression ezisuka from amasiko akho.
Yeah.
These are the things that make you powerful. These are the things that make you African. Has A-Reece, I don't even know what the fuck, A-Reece, what language does he speak? Is he Sesotho? Andazi. Nigga, I don't know. because
he has never even given us himself.
He might as well be from Mississippi.
Yeah.
Because he's missing the point, and I think CP, you know.
That's the thing.
I don't know. But yeah, A-Reece, your Africanness, your authentic ethnic indigenous space has never been exposed. And don't tell me that, nah, I love hip hop, so that's what I am. I was born in the late 90s, so this is what I know. The reality is that you know more than that. You know the pansula in the street corner. You know the tsotsi at night moving, trying to hustle.
You know the Ginza.
You know the Ginza, pushing the BMW kusheshe. You choose to align yourself with American culture.
Yeah.
And the question is, what does being African mean in our time? Let's go into it. What does being African mean today? Because check this out. Since Africa is a concept that came to importance and existence as a result of colonialism, as a result of the idea that a couple of Europeans who wanted to take over the entire world decided to ideologically separate abantu bomhlaba and say, well, we are white because we represent everything that is high and elevated and godly, and as a result everyone is black because they represent everything that is low, inhumane, and worthy of
inferior, all that shit.
Inferior, worthy of being taken over. When they saw us, they didn't see people. They saw, you know, like a cat or a dog. You know, they saw something that you could keep around you and use for your own benefit. And as a result, I want us to remember that, guys. We have white friends, I have white friends. We live in the construct of whiteness. We understand the context and the content of what it means to be black. But I don't think we really investigate that these things are all created. I have been blacked, but I'm not really black.
Yeah.
So there's a level in which
just like they've been white.
My ancestors didn't regard themselves as black. Yeah. This was a label put on us, and certain scholars responded to it in order for them to use this term and redefine it, because that's the power of politics. You get to take what was used to defeat you to use it to empower you. So people like Steve Biko, by reading the works of Abantu Abafana, Booker T. Washington and other scholars, were able to take blackness, redefine it and say, listen, blackness means consciousness.
Yeah.
Just like ebusuku, we are able to reflect on the deep depth of space and understand that our eternity is something completely dark. The mystery of divine creation is black.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scholars said, I saw God and she was black. Because it represents the fact that the divine mystery is something that we can never define. That in another way, blackness is the great beyond, that which you cannot begin or start. So before I go on a philosophical tangent, A-Reece has no clue about all this shit. A-Reece is speaking from a perspective of a young post-millennial who's sitting in his room, smoking weed, looking at his phone, thinking, yo, I'm the best rapper in Africa, yo. This nigga from LA just tweeted my single and he thinks it's hot.
Yeah.
Dude.
And Chris Excel says there, yeah, you're the best rapper. Where's Uchaya
He's got a point. Because to the younger generation, guys, you are not born in a vacuum. As much as this world feels global, don't get it twisted. You live in South Africa. There are real situations that involve the direct history of this country. If you don't know about Mandela, Sobukwe, Biko, Terre Blanche, Verwoerd, P.W. Botha, if you can't trace back the lineage of oppression, if you don't know a little bit about how we got to where we are right now, you will not be able to navigate what it means to be a South African.
Yeah.
Let alone African.
Yeah.
A-Reece has no clue about what an MC like Reino did for Nigeria with his flow. He has no clue about the connections that were manifested by working with South African artists. He has no clue why artists like Burna Boy and Wizkid are important to the diaspora and South African artists in general. He has no clue why Davido is so important in the breaking through of Africa and the market to the UK. He has no clue the fact that Africans associate hip-hop with ubungoma, with the ability to praise imbongi zethu and the griot. Freestyle Fellowship called their album the Inner City Griots. He has no clue that the engravings on walls printed by the so-called Khoisan through their hands travel and inspire African Americans. Or Africa Bambata started a movement and they called it what? The Zulu Nation. He has no clue the influence that Africa plays in the development of hip hop.
You know, it's funny that you see the way that the Americans are trying so hard to adopt Africanism into their art. But Tina was Africa, we want validation from them. Why is that?
Broken telephone.
Yeah.
Because in our country, because of media, mass production, and the colonial influence, we think the best way to be is global. Bona, they yearn because all they see around them is guns and resistance. African, American, black people, especially men, can't even drive in the freeway without being stopped every other day by a Hada that's going to pull out and ask for your ID and your license. Guys, this is real.
Yeah.
It's bigger than Lil Wayne, it's bigger than Drake, it's bigger than Young Thug. Black males in America are experiencing an internal trauma.
Yeah.
And when they look at what would be possibly the best way to live, some of them look at Africa and they think, good God, my blood comes from there, and maybe if I return back there, something would make sense.
Yeah.
There's a really cool clip, maybe we'll play it, between Ja Rule and Mzayezek.
Yes.
Where they diss each other about being ghetto. A lot of people they're like, no man, this is like a competition about who's struggling the worst. No. I think DJ Mzayezek was trying.
More fire.
Yes, I was trying to do a job of teaching African Americans that we here in Africa have a power, have a unique cultural identity that we feel has the power to influence the whole world if given the chance. He wasn't taking part in a poverty competition with Ja Rule. He was saying, we know your struggle through the movies. We've seen Boys in the Hood. We've seen all of these things. And that doesn't mean that we know how you live. It just means that we've been given a window
of
some of your experiences. And you don't have anything of ours.
All you know is that in Africa, you've got this perception that
exactly.
And there's lions walking around.
The misconception, because of terrible media, is that African Americans don't get this perception that we are postmodern, we are advanced, and we are progressive. So I'd really like to say this is an episode for both people in Africa, but for Africans in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
Our Africans.
And I like the fact that we have some American subscribers.
Shout out
to you guys. Yeah.
A-Reece is making the biggest sin because his idea of Africa is based on a colonialist mentality. Because he has been thoroughly Americanized. Most rappers are in the same condition. The A word is important because if we don't understand the history of where we come from, we can never engage with the rest of the world.
So who is the real best rapper in Africa?
Oh my God.
Because we need to get there so that we can see the conversation.
Who's the greatest rapper in Africa?
The best.
The best?
Like he says, he's the best.
Okay, listen.
Okay.
Here's how I can measure this. I want to go to MCs that have expressed what epitomizes
Yeah.
the best of what Africa has to offer. The humble experiences, guys.
Yeah, what is a little here,
Guys, like, yeah, we drank a lot today.
Goodbye. Yeah. Anyway. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
An embassy that epitomizes the best of what Africa is, and I think what that is the resilience of having gone through colonialism and still believing in yourself.
Yeah.
And the culture that you come from. Number two, seeing the possibilities for the rest of the world to relate to your Africanness
Yeah.
as a person, because we have not been seen as persons, as people. A lot of the times we like a tiger in the zoo. We're an interesting thing to look at, and then
Yes.
right? And number three, the politics of an MC. And what I mean the politics is, does this MC understand the power that they're giving to other people as they move?
As they move.
So I've got two names in my mind. I want to say Canaan. Because as somebody from a war-torn Somalia who was able to bring his narrative across, collaborate with people from Nas
To most
deaf, he has been able to bring himself to the American market. And I know a lot of you who come from the early 2000s know Canaan as the waving flag guy. When I grow older, I will be stronger. They'll call me freedom, just like a waving.
Stop that
No.
shit.
Canaan
Go back.
is more than that.
Yes.
He's an MC who has told,
They're gonna say he's the one who sold out.
he told the story of his people.
Yeah, he told yo.
He was able to relate to global audiences. And then he chose to navigate in the context of capitalism.
Of capitalism.
He did all these three things that I list.
But on his first two albums, he was thoroughly authentic and telling his own story. Cause you know the first album. What was the first album? Dusty Food Philosopher.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yeah. That's when the world got wind of him, and then he dropped Troubadour. On Troubadour, he still took essence of his where he's come from. You know, sampling.
My friend.
Yes, my friend, yeah. Because when I play his music, to my friend will like, you playing our shit. So there's this track, I forgot the name of it, but it's there on Troubadour. But he features Orlando.
You're a terrible African for forgetting the name of the song.
Man, I think the name of the song is actually "This Is America." It's funny. It says "This is America," but the chorus.
Like Childish Gambino.
Yeah, it says "This is America," but the chorus is a Somalian folklore.
Nursery rhyme.
Yeah, nursery rhyme. Correct. Like that shit. Like I can't understand it, but it was nice. To effect that Mos Def jumped in. And I don't know the other New York MC.
Yasin might as well be South African.
Oh yeah, he's me. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Honorary South African.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Being authentic, you come with your Landuga car, your authenticity, your Landuga, and then Americans will jump on it. Not you adapting to Americanism.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what I wanted to. So that's why I'm like, it's alright, but City, he should be there.
I'm torn though.
Okay.
Because beside him, I wanna say, and y'all gonna hate me for this. So let me drink some liquor.
Off camera, because they ain't paying us.
Killing folks. I
knew you were gonna say that.
I wanna say
AKA
A to the K to the A
That guy represents Ubu South Africa.
Africa bonke. Number one, he's colored. So he breaks the anti-blackness of most colored people. And he says, listen, I'm a Joburg colored with affiliations to this political dynamic. So, I'm black. Which is something a lot of colored people would not dare to say. I live in the context of blackness. AKA tries his best to assimilate aspects of our collective imagination. He raps in vernac whenever he tries to.
Yeah. And I think he envies that, but
he envies that.
He can't.
Jesus, guys, you need to understand.
Yeah.
If AKA could speak isiZulu, it would be over for y'all. Because a lot of the references that he wishes he could access come from a market he does not have direct connection with. Jesus Christ, Elise Blamia. But anyways, AKA is important in the sense that he has constantly challenged himself to grow beyond the limitations that other people tell him he cannot grow beyond. He grows beyond that.
Yes.
He does run Josie. He puts KO
on.
He grows. He does Jika. He gives South Africa a wedding song. Sorry. He grows beyond that. He elevates constantly in a context that is important to South African culture. This is an MC who came on Sway in the morning and talked about things that Sway could not possibly know Basindoni. AKA is unapologetically African.
Yeah.
His track record speaks for itself. Levels is a classic.
Yeah.
He is an MC who, beyond his colored identity, has stepped into the context of blackness. Beyond his rapper identity, has tried to engage with what it means to be an African rapper in a global world. The only mistake I think he made is not knowing what gaffer means in the global context.
Yeah,
Again, need more homework. But I forgive him for that. Because he's the same rapper that says...
I'm not gonna forgive you. Fuck that shit.
I forgive him for that shit. Because AKA is the kind of rapper who can say, where the real ANC Youth League at? Find them right there where the cheese at.
Obviously.
His songs, though trap, are able to insert a little bit of political consciousness.
People don't listen. They
When you listen to AKA, his references are always South African. He chooses this all the time to say, I'm gonna talk about some shit that Americans will never know.
No, never, yeah.
He's collaborated with Burna Boy before he burned that bridge by being xenophobic. He's collaborated with important African artists. About Manifesto Besbatedanga.
Yeah. And you could say also when he collaborated with the joint project with who's this white kid? Costa Teach.
Costa to the Teach.
He was trying to suck that Africa because Costa Teach
is a white boy who authentically lived in a black space.
Yeah.
So in a way, he's not white anymore.
Yeah.
And AKA was able to say, Jesus Christ. Come here.
Yeah.
And I feel that from an African perspective, he's resonated beyond our little country. AKA is definitely a product of the Ramaphosa Republic, but he's gone beyond that. He's been able to try to find a way to relate to the diaspora as a whole. So I want to give Forbes his props, and I want to say, if not K9,
then it's gotta be AKA.
Talk to me. If Nidedi Gaga, if you have any other ideas of who could be your contender
for being the best rapper in Africa.
There's a lot of Nigerian MCs. Reno, you know what I mean? Like MI. But the reality is that we're talking about the crossover appeal.
Yes.
AKA has had some level of crossover appeal. And for me, if I had the opportunity to choose between Nasty C, A-Reece, or AKA to represent us on the global space, I'd definitely choose Keenan Forbes.
Obviously, Keenan Forbes.
He might be a little bit bloated in his conception of himself. He might have an amazing ego that allows him to say some of the most ridiculous things about people. He might drive you nuts because he feels insensitive. But let's talk music, guys. Let's talk impact.
Yes.
Let's talk consistency. Let's talk mass appeal. Right? Let's talk emotional depth.
He might be the GOAT though.
I don't even want to get to that. All I'm saying is that if I had to choose between Kanan and AKA, and I had to say who's the best rapper
In Africa.
Jesus Christ.
It had to be Kenan Forbes.
I'd give it to Forbes. I almost called him Africa. I'd give it to Forbes.
Yeah, so yeah.
I'd give it to Forbes.
That was our episode on, what are we calling it?
Yes.
Who's the real fucking best rapper in Africa?
Who is the greatest rapper in Africa? Africa is an imaginary construct. It's only real if you want to respond to colonialism. And if you want to respond to colonialism, you have to understand your African history. A-Reece knows none of the above. So as a result, he's stupid for saying that. Investigate your history, understand your authenticity, know your place. Tribal, indigenous, cultural, psychological, spiritual. We are now called Africans, so we decide what it means. If you are a rapper and live in Africa and listen to the Headspace, think about that. This is a political discussion, and when I'm talking politics, anti-ANC, politics means the dynamics of power. Are you empowering yourself before you ask how are those who have been given positions empowering you? Because MCs like AKA and Kanan have done what they can to empower this country, this continent, this experience. MCs, being African is an invented concept. It only matters when you are responding to colonialism. If you understand what that means, look at your history, look at where you come from, understand who you are. AKA and Kanan are artists who reflect that element of doing that. My name is VJ, the brother of the ancient mother.
Kutake is Alona, and we're probably gonna leave you with that snippet.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this is the Headspace, African all day, every day. Bonapagate. We love you.
Sure.
Subscribe, motherfuckers.
Hey, give us. Hey, whoa. You guys must give us ilandu kuchwala. Hey, this thing of buying chwala. Hey, fuck. This was an ex.
We need local brands of
chwala so that we can get drunk on authentic
South African shit.
I hope my mama don't watch this. I love you.
Peace out. Yeah.
Charlie means cocaine.
Oh, no, Charlie means hola.
I was just telling you, different languages you speak. Charlie means cocaine.
No, Charlie is a person. Like I can say, my man. Like you in America, you say my nigga. But here we say my brother. We say Charlie. We say skibing. We say mtangat.
In America, when you sniff the Charlie, you do the Charlie. Guy or brewer. See, y'all don't know this type of shit, cause y'all, I don't understand the street thing.
Oh, what you talk about?
You don't know Guy or Brewer. You never been on Guy or Brewer. You don't know what something is.
Street life, me. I'm from the hood. What you talk about?
That's good. You can be from the hood, but you don't know American hood.
I know, but I know because it's the same, Charlie. Tumekas is a so-called Asiapana. What you talk
wrong,
about?
Charlie.
I'm right. What you talk about, Charlie? What is the America?
You wrong. Yeah, you wrong. I'm gonna tell you why you wrong.
I know the hood life.
You may know the hood life in Africa.
No, yeah, but it's even Western.
You ever been to America?
No, it's Western America.
You ever been to America?
I see it on TV.
No.
I'm telling you, I'm talking about the hood, Charlie.
And I'm telling you who's from the hood and who's not from the hood.
I'm also from a cars.
Have you ever been to America?
Oh no, I'm not go to America.
Okay, then you don't know what American hoods are.
Have you ever been to a Tembisa?
No.
So you don't know what is
But
my
I'm here
hood life
now.
like.
I'm here now.
That's why I'm in your fucking cars. You
I'm
must
here
learn.
now.
I want to take you to my hood. You must
Let's
see.
go to the hood.
So I see cars.
Let's go to the hood.
I want to take you right down.
I'm a hood nigga.
Nothing to my cars. I'm
I'm a hood nigga.
I'm also from the
I'm one of
cars.
the hoodest niggas you'll ever meet.
You must be from the hood to make hood music.
That's
so people
right.
they must understand.
So let me tell you something. He didn't come from the motherfucking hood. He didn't grind from nothing to something. I did, nigga.
Zela wasisi mele phume kasi ukuthi
I
understand
ain't
what.
talking shit. Holla back. It's rule on one. You know how we do it. It's motherfucking all day.